Indonesia Independence Day is a national holiday that commemorates the proclamation of Indonesia's independence on August 17, 1945. The government declared it a national holiday in 1946. The national holiday commemorates Indonesia's 1945 Declaration of Independence from the Netherlands. The proclamation sparked 4 years of conflict before their independence was formally acknowledged. In August, Indonesian towns are adorned with red and white artwork, patriotic and cultural parades, and street decorations. A group of nationalists declared independence on August 17, 1945, after Indonesia had been under Dutch colonial rule for over 300 years. The struggle for independence and liberation in Indonesia was not easy. After 4 years of continued fighting, Queen Juliana of the Netherlands officially granted Indonesia independence. Indonesia has had a turbulent history of colonization and slavery. In the late 1500s, Europeans discovered Indonesia, or what was then known as the East Indies. The British, Dutch, and Portuguese realized that the enormous demand for spice could make them extremely wealthy, so they colonized the area. The Dutch enslaved Indonesians and forced them to work tirelessly on their own land to cultivate cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and other highly prized spices to be exported back to the Netherlands. Many people are unaware that the Dutch ruled Indonesia for over 350 years, profiting from the land and its people. Despite previous rumblings of revolution, the transition to independence began in May 1908. Indonesians were becoming more political, and a number of political parties were formed to push for a free Indonesia. However, it wasn't until the end of World War II that Indonesia got its chance at independence. The Japanese occupied the Dutch East Indies from 1942 until the end of the war in 1945. This was the point at which neither the Dutch nor the Japanese had control of the country, and the Indonesian leaders were able to rise up and reclaim control. On August 17, 1945, just 2 days after the Japanese emperor surrendered in the Pacific, Indonesian leaders issued a Declaration of Independence. For many years following this date, there was a struggle for power, but in the end, Indonesia did win their freedom, and this date is now celebrated as Independence Day. On Independence Day, the Indonesian Constitution mandates that all citizens display the national flag in front of their homes, businesses, schools, and government institutions. Indonesian diplomatic missions around the world have been asked to fly the national flag on August 17th to commemorate the national holiday. The National Independence Day ceremony was broadcast live by all Indonesian national television stations from the presidential palace in Jakarta. After a military procession, the Indonesian National Orchestra will perform patriotic and traditional songs accompanied by an orchestra. The flag-lowering ceremony also occurs around 5 o'clock in the evening, local time. Indonesians commemorate the event with cultural performances, music, singing, cooking contests, and bazaars, eating krupuk, and competing in climbs to the top of a grease-covered areca palm trunk where prize is hung at the top. The real fun takes place in the towns and villages. People gather for these races, games, and many competitions. The Indonesian people fought long and hard for their freedom, and you can see them joyfully celebrating their amazing country and shouting Merdeka, which means freedom, all over the archipelago's 17,000-plus islands. These are Interesting Things with JC.